Welcome to Counterculture, a talk show in a diner.
On this episode, I welcome one of Philly's most endearing and respected television news journalists, Pat Cherokee.
I was able to lead our coverage when Pope Francis came to Philadelphia.
Yes.
I did 16 hours of live coverage. The preparation for that was profound.
Jazz vocalist, Greg Farnese.
'Cause I love you.
A lot of people say sometimes that jazz is making a comeback.
Right.
And honestly, Grover, it's been there the whole
It never
time.
went away.
It never went away.
And physician's assistant, Jessica DeLuise.
I'm taking them to the grocery store and figuring out how to eat your way to wellness for your body and your health history.
Right.
All right here on Counterculture.
Hi, folks, and welcome to Counterculture. I'm your host, Grover Silcox, coming to you from Daddy Pop's Diner in beautiful downtown Hatboro. Shadootin', that's I'm getting in the mood. My next guest is a New Jersey native who takes us back to the Great American Songbook as a vocalist who sings the classics from masters such as Rodgers and Hart, Cole Porter, the Gershwin brothers, and on and on. Please welcome jazz and pop singer Greg Farnese. Greg, it is so great to have you.
Grover, was that Mel Torme you were doing?
It was.
I know.
Scat, man. That's right, yeah.
It's so nice to be here. Thank you for having me
My
at the
pleasure,
counter.
my pleasure. You've been called a jazz vocalist, a crooner, a pop singer. How would you define what you do?
I would say I'm a singer that sings from the heart and really attached, to a lyric, which is why I'm so attracted to the Great American Songbook.
Yes, yes.
So I would say maybe jazz more than a pop singer, although I did a record with contemporary songs, and I love all genres of music, from opera to the Nine Inch Nails.
Really? Talk about some of your favorite songs, the numbers you like, that you draw from.
I'm always attracted to songs that have contradiction in the lyric.
Yeah.
One that pops into my mind is a song called Smile, which was actually written by Charlie Chaplin.
Yes, Charlie Chaplin. I think it was at a very difficult time in his life.
He was going through a really rough time in his
Right.
life. And the lyric, it's asking you to smile, but when you hear it,
Yes.
you can't help but cry.
Exact. That is
So
you're right.
I like songs like that where
Yes.
the story is not kind of what you expect. So there's some kind of dramatic conflict within the song.
Right.
So that's one that pops out at me. But
Yes.
there's so many songs by Cole Porter and Duke Ellington. And then other ones were from, Broadway plays that are about a character going through something. So
right. It's always a love interest and
Yes.
things aren't going right. It's everyday
Absolutely.
life put into song.
yeah, so as a singer, as an artist, it's not hard to, personalize these songs, so just beautiful music.
Yeah. Who were your heroes growing up? Who were in terms of singing, in terms of music?
Well, I mean, growing up in an Italian-American household, I mean, you have to have Sinatra playing, right?
Of course.
But, he was always, somebody that I really admired,
Right.
not just as an artist, but all the things he did. Something I've always noticed about him in comparison to other singers is, when he sang a song, it's like you really believed he was living that
Yes,
song.
yes.
And not every singer was able to do that before his time. Like,
Right.
Even though Russ Columbo was a credible singer technically.
Right.
Right. I just didn't quite get that Russ Columbo was going through this heartbreak. That
Right. Like Set 'Em Up
Sinatra-
Joe, right?
Oh, man.
One of the great.
Johnny Mercer tunes.
Yeah, Johnny Mercer, another genius.
Oh, my goodness.
Wouldn't you say that like Sinatra personifies the difference between a performer and just a singer?
Yeah, and I think, I have an acting background. I was an actor before I was a soloist, so I think that really has helped me as a singer to tell a story. So yeah, I think Sinatra really kind of was one of the first singers to actually
like almost be an actor.
Yeah, I mean, Bing Crosby too.
Right.
But I think Sinatra was more of a performer, actor
right.
while he was singing.
And
that definitely came
moved
through.
it up into the latter part of the 20th century.
Yes, totally agree with that.
Yeah.
I like to be considered one of those singers that is more of a performer as well, because I like to connect with an audience.
What a world, what a life, I'm in love.
I really believe, and you can attest being a performer yourself, that it's a dance between an audience and a performer. It's not a performance without an audience.
Right.
So my whole thing is a performance without an audience is a rehearsal. So I like that dance between the audience and performer, and I try to bring that to every performance and try to connect with whoever's listening.
Right. And so you've recorded albums So do you have to do that in the studio when it's kind of a pristine
I'll tell you,
environment?
actually, I have one record that was my very first one, and it was an incredible learning experience. It really took a longer time than I thought it was going to take to record, and I'm very proud of the record. It's called Set in Motion on the very prestigious Victor label.
Yes.
We were very excited. So yeah, that was a whole different approach to performing. But the good side of that is it was something that you can edit and kind of really kind of mold.
Do you have a set band, or do you pull musicians together for different gigs, or how does that work?
Unlike like a rock band or a cover band, I think as a jazz singer, you find that there's always kind of a different mix of musicians and instrumentalists. I prefer that. I like having different musicians playing at different times. I just like the whole ensemble and the ability as a band leader to be able to cast my band. There's always the same guys that I play with.
Right, but you sort
not
of
all
pull
the same
them
time.
together.
Yes, at
for
different
a
times.
gig.
Yes, which I really love. There's a certain energy. I think using different artists keeps it fresh and keeps you on your toes. So I enjoy that challenge. I really do.
So you have a gig, you bring all the musicians together. How do you all make it work?
Usually it's kind of a combination of giving different treatments to different songs. And some of the piano players I perform with a lot, and they know my style. So they're very gentle and kind of cushioning the singer, and it's just, it all kind of comes together on the spot, really. It's like live theater.
I think some folks might think that jazz is only for a very specialized audience, especially from the Great American Songbook. Like, well, aren't those folks just getting older and they're not, you're not an old guy?
Well, I tell you. Yeah, so I guess most of the audiences are, a certain demographic, but a lot of people say sometimes that jazz is making a comeback.
Right.
And honestly, Grover, it's been there the whole time.
It never went away.
It never went away. Right. It's just that, I think there's more of an opportunity and more access to it, and people, how can you not love the Great American Songbook?
Exactly.
And these songs have been around forever because they're great songs.
They're considered classics, standards.
They are.
Yeah.
I guarantee
There's a reason. There's
200 years from now, there'll be some other bald singer singing a song. I guarantee you.
Now, what song is always in your repertoire? Like, you're always going to include it?
I always get You Know the Way You Look Tonight.
There is nothing for me but to love you, and the way you look tonight.
I also like to do these different songs in different tempos,
Right.
which I really love to do. It surprises audiences. Like sometimes they hear, like I've Got You Under My Skin, like in a swing version that Sinatra always does. But when you hit him with a bossa nova under my skin, it's like all of a sudden.
Now, how's that bossa nova beat? That's a whole different beat.
It's like.
Tall and tan and young and lovely.
Tall and tan, young and lovely, the girl from Ipanema goes walking, and when she passes, each one she passes goes. Very good.
Thank you. Yes, I put that.
That was
on.
Kind of pitchy, though.
Right. I think that I'm going to put that on. My wife's going to get romantic, and she goes, "Put the Beatles on."
Oh, exactly. Hey, there's some wonderful Beatles.
Hey, they were geniuses. And you'll be performing.
I'll be
in the next
performing.
several months.
I just got invited to. I'm very excited about this. In January, what a way to start off the 2020 year. I was invited by the Philadelphia Art Museum. They do an after hours, after 5, it's called, on Friday nights, where we're going to be performing in the Great Stair Room with the incredible John Coliani, who was Mel Torme's music director, and Lee Smith, who's an incredible bassist, and Leon Jordan Sr., and John David Simon from New York City on tenor sax. So I'm really excited. That's January 25th, I believe, a Friday.
Well, that's fantastic. Well, all the classics will come together
at
the Philadelphia Art Museum.
I can't wait for that.
Greg, I want to thank you for joining us, man.
It was a nice time hanging out
all
with you,
I can say
man.
is, shoo-doo.
Yeah, baby, shootin' dootin' die.
Greg Farnese, a jazz vocalist who always leaves the room on just the right note.